Thanks, I'm Andy, I'm an addict. I'm quite uncomfortable sitting here, to be honest. I've been doing chairs I've done loads of fucking chairs over the past years I've been in NA, but I'm not from round here, if you hadn't picked up on the accent. You know, so it's fine, and it will be fine once I start getting out of here and into this part of my body. Thanks for taking the meeting, the cup of tea, and everyone who does service, and people for turning up, really. So, you know, it doesn't feel like a pleasure to come and speak to you, but it is an absolute privilege to do it, and, you know, hopefully give a message to someone who's new, who's been here years, who's struggling, you know, whatever, really. If it's one person, then I've done what God's will has been for me today. Just when that on, like, when I was like, say no comment, you know what I mean, like, straight back to the fucking police station. I've been in police stations through my job, but, like, I'm talking about in cells for many, many years. I'll get into the step 3 bit in a minute. I do practice that stuff daily, and I've done for many years, but I've had periods in recovery where I've had long, sustained periods of abstinence, clean time, not necessarily recovery at times, and I've relapsed after a long time in here, which I'll cover a bit, and I had to revisit that step. But there's 2 before it that are really vitally important before I start believing something that's like, God, what the fuck are you on about, you fucking weirdos? I'm not, you know, that was my concept when I come here. I was brought from a rehab, like I went to a couple of rehabs from prison. You know, I was a heroin and crack user, and it went on for many years. You know, I don't really need to go into that. It's not drug specific in here. My story is, I used them drugs, and it come with consequences of broken relationships, broken families, and all the stuff that comes with it, health problems, prison. And finally I got into rehab, and the second one I went to was a 12-step rehab, and they took us to meetings, and it was in Bristol 23 years ago. I've been coming to meetings for 23 years. I'm 4.5 years clean. I still have a bit of shame now, if I'm honest. It's really difficult to say that, because it's still like what could have been, what, you know, but it doesn't matter. You know, I'm clean today, and I'm sitting in a meeting, and I'm sharing and carrying a message. Sorry I had to bring that in. It's just like that. You're all fucking useless because you had 16 years. It doesn't matter. It does to me, but it doesn't matter to people in the fellowship. And when I first come to meetings, I got a glimmer of hope, do you know what I mean? Because I listened to people who, to be honest, talked about heroin addiction and shoplifting, and that was the identification. That's what I did. There wasn't no fucking big time drug dealer. I was exploited by people to take drugs wherever. And I was laughing about it before with Dave about robbing cheese, Macleys and bacon, and that was about the strength of me fucking criminality, and I wasn't very good at that because I was in police stations every week, but and then thinking I was over here, and then I'd look in the mirror and I had a big fucking wig with a yellow face and like gaunt cheeks, and thinking if I went in a fucking shop I'd be following you as well, do you know what I mean? You know, so I've got in touch with that. I still carry a lot of shame around that, really. Like I know it's a fear-based illness, but mine is quite shame-based. I'm quite a shameful person, do you know what I mean? And struggle with that. But anyway, they took us to meetings, and I heard the word God, and I was like, about that. You know what, my mum's a devout Christian, and I have some issues around it, and it feels a bit like mixed message from her. You go to church, you do all this. It's like here in NA, effectively, and it's a good place for her to go, but it was very conflicting for me, and I thought, I don't really fancy that. I wouldn't say I was agnostic, is that that's the right word, really, against religion, but I knew when I listened to people, I needed something that wasn't me in charge of my life. When I'm in charge of my life, and this is step 3 for me, when I'm in charge of my life, using drugs, it's a car crash. And when I've been in recovery, I've run charge of my life because I've gained, you know, it was all that stuff I've talked about. I mean, I'm married, I've been married 15, 16 years, I've got an 11-year-old daughter, I've got a driver's license, I've travelled the world, I've got a career, I've been to uni. Excuse me, all them joys and esteemable stuff I've done. My life's significantly different. My neighbours don't know I'm on a gear, I don't rob their house, do you know what I mean? It's quite good for them, that. Like, so I'm a different materialistic person. Physically, I look very different. And I haven't done that myself, do you know what I mean? But I've got into places in recovery where I've I've questioned how I've got that, and I've got into places in my mind thinking I've done this myself. It's not you lot in here. It's certainly not fucking God. It's me who's... And there's 50% of that I have done that, but the other bit belongs to the God of my understanding. And I suppose if you have a problem with the word God, we use higher power in here. We use gift of desperation as an acronym for God, or group of drug addicts, whatever you for. It doesn't matter. The point is that I've learned that as long as it's not me, that's good enough. Do you know what I mean? So in the beginning, I used to think, I don't know how many people are in here, it feels like about 9 million, but like it's probably about, whatever, 10 people. 11 heads is bigger than one, do you know what I mean? And then I wrote step 1 and understood I was powerless, and when I put drugs in me I become obsessive and compulsive. And then I learned in recovery, when I have unmanageable feelings, I become obsessive and compulsive in terms of how I am. So the step 1 is really, really vital. And then 2 is restoring me to sanity. But how do I do that with something that I can't fucking see, feel, smell, touch, whatever it is? So I for years, early on in recovery, years ago, coming in a meeting and saying I'm Andy, I'm an addict, is admitting I'm powerless. Like, I need help, and I need help from you lot, and you lot are my higher power. Does that make sense? Or I had a sponsor, and that was something bigger than me, 2 people. The literature's really good, it's black and white, and when I'm open-minded to taking messages in, it fucking glares you there, do you know what I mean? It really does, like when I'm connected. So I used that really, and it wasn't that scary. It was scary because I had loads of shame and I couldn't look people in the eye, and I used to find it really hard. People go for meals and coffees after meetings, and I'd be like, I don't want to do that. Like, you know what I mean? You'll see my fucking soul if I sit next to you, or sitting in meetings and someone would pick a reading up and I'd be burning up, do you know what I mean? Thinking everyone was looking at me. Needing the toilet, like I would sit, nearly piss myself, thinking I'll fall over that chair. Just like, it was just fucking torture. If I'm honest, I'm not giving a good message about being clean here. But you certainly know why you use fucking drugs when you stop, is the point I'm getting at. But that's not really gone away from me. It's got easier, and I've learned to like live with it. But I haven't done it. It's the God of me understanding that nurtures that. And God's will is not for me to fucking sit and torture myself and live in shame. It's about what we do in here is phenomenal, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, to getting a day clean is a big fucking deal, do you know what I mean? And it's not easy, like, it's not easy if you've got fucking 10 years of them, 15 years of them. Getting a day clean, that's all that's on offer in here. Lots and lots of stuff comes with that. But when I forgot that, I started running on the opposite of God's will, which is self-will. And I wasn't making decisions. Decisions is a big word in step 3, isn't it? That's all you have to do, is make a decision. Doesn't matter what it is. Make a decision based on, I suppose, blind faith that I'm not running a fucking show, because when I run a show, it's a train crash every time. And addictions like the M6, in recovery, it's been like a little B-roll, but it's the same fucking hole. I end up falling, thinking, what happened? And my relapse was around pain medication, do you know what I mean? 4.5 years ago, well, it was probably, I got into exercise. I'm not going to go into all what I did. It was all good stuff, like challenging myself, doing endurance events. And I started getting little niggles from long distance running. And my wife and I, she runs marathons as well. And we done a marathon in Paris together, which was a great experience, even though she fucking beat me, which wasn't I was like, I'll let you win, love, it was your first fucking one. But she fucking destroyed me, to be honest with you. I thought, I've got a fatter ass than you, what you're expecting, you know what I mean? But like, and we trained for another one, just to get to the point of what happened. So we booked Barcelona to run together. And we done a long training, run 16 miles or whatever. I mean, it's a long time to run, particularly for anyone, not let alone an ex-fucking junkie. And then I ended up in the hospital 4 days later and was like out of breath going to the toilet, and it freaked me out, to be honest with you. And I had an infection. I was in for 6 weeks. I was really unwell. I had the damage to my colon, which is close to your sciatic nerve in your leg, and it's swollen up, and it damaged the sciatic nerve. So I was in a lot of pain. My foot, I was on crutches in a wheelchair and all that because I couldn't walk. and went straight to pain medication. Now it's kind of, I've got no, look, if you're on medication, and this is not what I'm please don't think I'm saying stop taking that. I'm not, that's not what I'm saying. My experience of that was, I took it because I was in pain, but there was fear there, do you know what I mean? So I didn't ring people to say, and I was saying, you know, give me IV paracetamol. I was like, I need morphine. Fuck that. Well, that's not going to do nothing. That's not like practicing principles and relying on, I suppose, God's will. And anyway, just to cut a long story short, I ended up developing a problem with tramadol and pregabalin. And when I say a problem, I do laugh about it with my friends. It's like addict dyslexia, I call it. Like the bottle says take 2 every 4 hours, and I was like, take 40 with a cup of tea for your breakfast. It's not really aligned with what we're doing here. And then I justify it because when I was a heroin addict, I ended up in jail, and I was married, I had a child, I was taking it to school, I've got a career that's quite, like, you know, I suppose, pressured and important, if you like, and I was still going to work and paying bills and putting my kids to bed and doing all that normal stuff that I developed, but I was eating tablets, there was packets all in my car, and I had to fucking surrender again, do you know what I mean? I had to make a decision. I'm getting to step 3 now a little bit more, how it's really come in my life, that I had to make a decision. I can't run this anymore, do you know what I mean? I've got to surrender back to step 1. I need to step into step 2 to get some hope and something bigger than myself, and I need to make a fucking decision, which is the difficult bit of handing that, like, taking, relinquishing, surrendering and acceptance and letting go of control. And that's fucking so difficult for me, and I'm seeing people nodding, and for everyone else that comes in here, it's difficult when I'm in unmanageable feelings. I want to control things, make things happen, have expectations, have motives, and it never pans out, you know what I mean? And it sounds really easy to go, sorry, I surrendered. It's not that simple for me. It really, really isn't. Anyway, I put the tablets down and I come to this area and stayed with Ian, to be honest. Sorry if I'm putting it on you like that. He let me stay in his house for 6 weeks, and I was a fucking nightmare going, I'm rattling. And it was fucking horrible, to be honest. Like, I've come off illicit opiates, but that fucking medication, like, honest to God, they should be fucking, the Sackler family have got a lot to answer for, do you know what I mean? I don't think they done tramadol, but they've come fucking crazy with everything else. Anyway, sorry, that's outside the issue, but, so I then went to, he lives somewhere else than where he is now, but like, so I went to 2 meetings a day again, and it was difficult, like, physically difficult. There was this hill outside this flat, and I was like, fucking hell, like I've fucking done I've done Ironman triathlon, and I couldn't get up the hill, do you know what I mean? And I was like something, that wasn't me doing that, do you know what I mean? That, like, and there was a chemist halfway up, and I'm like, fucking hell, like, not like a drug addict or a scoring situation. It was very fucking different, you know, and it was subtle in the beginning, but the triggers I was getting, thinking I can just go in there and get coke up, but whatever, just something to change the way I felt. But I didn't want to do that because it was only going, it would have went back to the original train wreck, and I got clean again, and that was probably, well, it's 5 years, and it's February's miles away. It's just, you know, it's coming up to that year again, and what I've done since then, 3 and 11 are very, I know this is about step 3, but step 3 and step 11 are very, very aligned, you know what I mean? And for me, and this is my own personal opinion, and I say it meeting the Liverpool quite a lot, that some people steer away from, for newcomers, about this word that scares people out the door. But I think you know, there's 4 suggestions in here, as I'm sure everyone knows: a sponsorship, meeting, step work and service. But having a relationship with a higher power is so fucking essential in my life. And when I haven't got it, I become that shameful, unmanageable feelings, not worthy, don't enjoy the joy I've got in my life really, really quickly. But when I make decisions to turn my will in the life over to the care of God, as I understand him, she or it says him in there, which is a bit sexist, isn't it, really, to be honest. But anyway, it's just whatever it is. And it's simple for me. I fucking sit and meditate in the morning for 10 minutes. And then I'm in a beanbag in my back room and I'm not that nimble, so I have to get on my knees and like roll over like a fucking whale. So I just pray, you know what I mean? It just seems a natural thing to fucking do. And I say the step 3 prayer. Well, first of all, I has to be removed out the way for today, so that's surrender. Get me out the way today, I'm not in charge here. Take me well in my life, guide me in recovery. And then all I ask for within that prayer, I suppose, step 3 prayer is to look after my wife, my daughter and my dog. I've got like older daughter and a grandson who live in Suffolk, that's another chaos story, but like to look after them. I pray for my mum because I have quite blocks with her, and my mother-in-law who I love dearly but I've got some blocks with her, and then anyone who I'm resentful for comes into that as well, which is fucking so difficult, like when I'm in a justified resentment where I feel like they've harmed me and thinking about me, so that has to come in, but that takes time to get there. And then I've got a few friends who are using it, been in and out of it, and just to get them on the path and just say have a good day, and that's it. Like it's done in 30 seconds, to be honest with you. That's just my process. It's individual to me. I'm happy to share it in meetings, and people can either take that on or fuck it off. You know, it doesn't matter to me. If you don't get a relationship with a higher power, it's none of my business, to be honest with you. I just have a better lifestyle day when that happens. And I know I can come back. I know how spiritually well I am is when I leave my house and drive my car. That's a fucking sign of how spiritual. Because sometimes like, yeah, go on, and then like, you fucking cunt. Like I dropped my kid off at school. Like my daughter's like a little teacher. Like she's fucking, like everyone's kids are amazing, of course they are. But she's like, she challenges me around real stuff. I'm like, fucking hell. I mean, I've had a partner, so was a mum, do you know what I mean? We're quite closely linked, we talk. She's not in recovery, Carla, my wife, so she has a little drink and I quite like that because it calms her down a bit sometimes. But I, like, she's going to listen to this. I didn't mean that, love, if you're ever what I'm saying is she knows about, I've been with her a long time, she's been to conventions, it wouldn't work if she was a mad drinker, it's never going to work for me that. She goes out with her mates when she wants to have a bevy properly, or if we go out for a meal, she just whatever. So it's not a great deal, but we're quite healthy in a healthy place. And not all the time, obviously, but where we talk stuff, I don't scream and shout at her, I don't punch around the house, I don't smash stuff up in the house. And it's important for me as a dad to my daughter to give that role model male image to a young girl. I want her to have self-esteem, have confidence, be independent, all that type of stuff that I didn't really have, do you know what I mean, for whatever reason. But so that's me drive and learning about the programme myself. The most important place to practice all this stuff, make decisions, do step 4s, do step 5s, do step 11s, whatever that is to take it back to my living room, do you know what I mean? And it's also the hardest place to do it because I get triggered a lot. She gets triggered, and yeah, it's difficult to practice the spiritual principles, what we learn from step work and through sponsors, to practice in my living room, but it's absolutely that's what drives me to keep doing it, really. And sometimes when I don't feel worthy of it, which happens quite a lot because of my shame, then I have to ramp it up a little bit more, do you know what I mean? So really, like, I'm really simplifying step 3. It is fucking simple, like. It's very, very simple. When you get in here with it, I want to pick and choose and understand and intellectualise it. It comes from here, the decision comes from in here. And the trust and the blind faith of something like that is an internal fucking shift for me, really. It's difficult, I'm not doubting it, but it's when I get in here it becomes difficult to get blocked with it because I want to work it out. And I can't. I just know. And it is based on evidence from other days that when I'm connected and I hand it over that way, then I have a better day. It's as simple. I don't want to fucking stab me work colleagues. You know, not that I'm going to stab me work colleagues, but like I get quite angry and I get less angry and I'm awake to the day and I see things coming to turn the other way or try something different. And when I don't do it, they're there. And I become step 1 unmanageable, and it's very, very difficult. So it's the programme and this step isn't really, it can be about drugs if I continue not to do it, but it's not about drugs, it's about trying to manage my life on a day-to-day basis. I'm not powerless over drugs today because I'm not using them. If I put them in, I will be. but I'm not today. But I'm certainly powerless over the world, people, situations. And the most important thing, just to wrap it up, is God's will for me. And I've said this a few times through this year, is not to punish myself, and that's the bit I need to consistently work on. God's will is about be nurturing, kind, be gentle on yourself, and recognise the qualities that we have in here, all of us, about staying clean. We're quite unique people and very blessed people that we can come in a room full of strangers and be this like, yeah, there I am. It doesn't happen anywhere else in my life, and I have interactions with normal people a lot, but I'm quite comfortable in doing it in here. Well, I say comfortable, it's a bit of a lie. It's not like truly content with it, but I know it's safe, do you know what I mean? Anyway, thanks again for asking me, and I'll leave it there.
Thanks, Andy.